Whew. Hello, everyone, and welcome to SWAT Deeds Talk, Episode 2, How to DC. Dear viewer, if you have been following the channel, you know that we did our Episode 1 on 2021, and now we finally decided to do Episode 2 because I was lazy, or I just actually do have something to talk about in a long form. That's why I'm actually doing this one, because this is a very interesting subject that I want to talk about, and this is the best way to do it is in long form. And I'm not going to be doing this alone. I invited a fellow geek who outranks me in one way because he actually reads comics. So, Dave Meakin, welcome to the show.
Hello, Campbell-Thev. How you doing?
I am doing great. So, how to do DC. But before we actually talk about that, I want to give a brief intro of DC's current state. So the whole DCEU, we're basically going to talk about the DCEU, but we do name the video DC, but we are actually talking about the DCEU. Yep. The whole thing started with Man of Steel, and then Batman vs. Superman, and then Josh Whedon Justice League, and then the universe technically started, but it didn't start, and the whole thing was scrubbed, but movies kept coming in, and Snyderverse, that was the thing. And that officially ended last year.
Finally.
And now, finally, James Gunn is here on DC, and he is going to restart the whole thing. So his version of the DCU is going to be very different. He has a plan of, merging the animated universe with the live action one. I'm not really sure how that's going to go, but that's his plan. The animated DC world also has had 3 reboots now, I think. I think their whole animated universe started with the 90s with Batman the Animated Series, and then Superman the Animated Series, and then went to Justice League. And then afterward they paused and Young Justice came, and they did the whole few movies with Justice League Doom and stuff like that. Then they did the New 52 reboot. They did another reboot, which ended up in the last, I think Justice League War was the last New 52 movie, and then Constantine suggested Flash to do a Flashpoint, and they did do a reboot, and the movie that came out was Superman, the Man of Tomorrow. That's the Archer style animated thing, and they did a couple of movies with that, and they've released their movie. I think this is going to wrap things up in 2024. Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1 has been released, and I think Part 2, Part 3 are going to come out this year, and I think that's going to close the animated universe again, and they're going to do the James Gunn thing where they unite the animated universe with the live action one. I think that's what they're going to do. But let's forget about all of that, okay? Just forget all about that. DC has come to us, Dave. DC has approached us, okay? And they said,
Lord help us all.
Now we really are doomed.
Movie's going to give us all the money in the world, and we're in charge of restarting the DCU and how to actually properly doing the DCU while we are actually nearing the end of the superhero genre stage, because that's also a thing. But we'll come to that later. But right now, Dave, how would you restart the DC universe and do it successfully?
I would do it in a way that the New 52 universe did. The way that, so start it off with a Justice League movie. You've got these characters which are pretty much already established. It's not like with Marvel, where you've got these characters that nobody really knows, and then they build it up from there. Start with the Justice League movie, bring them together, and you can have solo movies afterwards. Have a Green Lantern in the Justice League movie, because it works with a Green Lantern.
That was going to be my big point.
Like, if you want an Aquaman, fine, but he's not really important. I know people want to jump on the "we hate Aquaman" thing because he's useless. All he does is talk to fish and swim. So basically, he's the Little Mermaid, but Jason Momoa.
Now that is something you can't unsee.
And just imagining Jason Momoa just going, "I want to be where the people are." Have the team movie be your foundation. Have these characters grow with each other. Have the Batman loosen up a little bit around the Justice League, but still have his technique, have Superman opening up saying, no, you know what, I can't fight these threats by myself. I do need help. There are going to be moments where I need help to fight the bad guys.
And I like what you said on the team movies as well. You can also mostly emphasize on the point how important the Justice League is earlier on, while you even have a minor threat. I think that's what they did in the animated show, is that the whole world kind of put all their eggs on Superman's basket, where they disarmed all their nuclear arsenal, every effective weapons they had. They disarmed everything, and they made Superman the protector. And of course, that was a ploy by the aliens that were already on Earth, were manipulating events. And when Superman became the guy who was going to stop the world, the alien invasion began. Guess what? The aliens were not that as powerful as Superman, but because everyone was relying on Superman, they were able to overwhelm him and also block out the sun. Again, this is where Superman learns that as a one man, even with all of his powers, he cannot handle it, because again, he will be a very singular target. Even minor enemies can overwhelm him.
I once thought I could protect the world by myself, but I was wrong. Working together, we saved the planet. And I believe that if we stayed together as a team, we would be a force that could truly work for the ideals of peace and justice.
So we're not saying it's a minor threat, like it's just a couple of guys, not a couple of guys in masks who just go, you know what, let's put a giant umbrella over Metropolis and then we'll stop the sun and we could beat Superman that way. Yeah, like you say, have an alien threat, like have someone who they outsmart Superman, because Superman he is quite smart. We don't deny it, he is quite smart. He can think things through, but at the same point, it takes someone smarter to outsmart Superman. So and also have these shape-shifting people that yes, they infiltrate the government, and someone like Batman is like, no, this isn't the US, this isn't the president of the United States. I know where he really is. So then everyone sort of plays their role in the first Justice League movie. So Batman's on the detective side, figuring out, right, how deep does this go? How far has this conspiracy gone? Superman and Wonder Woman, they're the muscle. They're the ones who are taking out the military. They're stopping the invasion from happening. And yeah, just have everyone have their moment to shine, but don't make it as an origin. Make it the foundation. We already, like I said, we know who these characters are. Don't try to re-establish them and say, oh, no, this is a new Superman, or this is a new Batman. So yeah, that's what I would do. Just really start off with a team movie, not as much as a Darkseid level threat off the bat, or Brainiac, for example. Like, have them build up to that. Have them build up to something like Brainiac. Have them build to someone like Darkseid, but not have your big bad, your ultra god tier level big bad right at the beginning, because that will immediately push away the audiences, because we know that the heroes can beat them. Don't show them off the bat. Do what they did, which I thought was clever. Have a child of Darkseid. Have it be, what was his name? One of the others, like all the sons of Darkseid, or all the children of Darkseid. What was his name?
I forgot the guy. He was in the movie.
You know exactly who I'm talking about, don't you?
I'll put a picture of him. In the video.
Why can't I remember his name? Anyway, that guy.
Yeah. That
guy. Have these threats that you build up to, but as you said, do not give your big bad more than maybe 30 seconds of screen time off the bat, because that. You want to ease your audiences in, not give them everything. But definitely, don't go an MCU route and throw everything you have into, like saying the good point of start off with a Justice League movie, because you've already established these characters, but also don't try to outshine the MCU, because you can't. That's their problem they had at the moment. They went straight into a Batman v Superman movie, which if it were up to me, that would be a film to put later.
My thing with this is that I want a good Hal Jordan, But again, the Ryan Reynolds chain is still there, so I'm not really sure.
Oh no, not that movie. No.
I mean, he's one of my favorite characters, but like that movie did so much damage.
Oh no, I just removed that from my mind. Why would you bring that back?
I would say, you know what? Maybe pause and do a Jon Stewart. He is recognized from the animated DC series. And if you cast a well enough actor with charisma and all that stuff, you can probably sell it. Hawkgirl, hire also a good actress, but you can have that, you can have that badass chick with Hawkgirl, I would say. That she was that character, and she will work well with a charismatic Green Lantern. And Batman, I would say, again, I don't want a solo Batman film. I would rather have Batman, again, as a background character in someone else's film, or him having another buddy movie, either with Wonder Woman. I have to make that couple of things. If I'm in charge of DC, I'm doing that. Okay. But
you heard it here first, folks. Cap simps for Batman and Wonder Woman.
100%.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
So, power scaling is the big problem with DC, which was an underlying problem. No one noticed it throughout the whole Snyder movies and also the Joss Whedon thing. I noticed it. I think that's the most horrible problem we're facing in the superhero genre right now. Marvel has that problem too. I think that's one of the reasons why their new movie is failing. They don't know how to scale these characters properly and how to make them interact with their world. They're breaking the world that they established already. With the DC, they shouldn't make that mistake. That's why Superman. We know they nerf Superman every time they do any adaptation, whether it's animation or anything, they nerf Superman. But the problem with nerfing Superman, you can only nerf him so much that he stops being Superman, and you can't really take away his powers. If you take away his powers, he's not going to be Superman. That's the problem. So, the main problem, I say, in the Justice League where they had the moment where Superman's like grabbing Wonder Woman and Aquaman at the same time, and then Flash does the slow-mo thing, and then Superman was able to do this and do everything with them. Stop that. This is going to lead on to our main topic, like how to do characters. It's DC, I think, so far, maybe on Christopher Reeves and Christopher Nolan things, they did do characters well. But with the whole Snyder thing, I don't think they haven't actually done this character in a proper way. So I'm going to ask you, how can we do these certain characters? Specifically, how are we going to create Superman? What is our Superman is going to look like?
So the best thing I can compare it to is there was a quote I saw. This was several years ago now. I think there are still some images out there, but there was a quote I saw relating DC and Marvel, in that Marvel is humans trying to be gods, and DC is gods trying to be human. So what I think the Snyder and all the other some of the original Supermen, what they haven't done is they haven't humanized Superman enough. He was raised on Earth. He has a care for humanity. In fact, for him, he sees the world so brittle. He could break the Earth with a punch. He could punch the Earth out of its orbit if he wanted to, but he doesn't, as he cares for the people on the planet. Because he is on a god level. In the eyes of humans, anyway, he is a god. He is a literal god. He can do anything.
The fundamental forces are yoked by consciousness. Everything's connected. Every one. And this is how he sees things all the time. Every day.
In Batman vs. Superman. But that also, I would add on, is that you need to build on Superman's relationship a lot stronger. And the Man of Steel, and also in the Snyderverse, he only had Lois and Martha. And even that, I don't think it was a good, well-established enough connection. Because both of them knew he was Superman already. That was the thing. Lois already knew he was Superman already. Again, there was no room for Clark Kent in that film at all, which is what I hate, because Clark Kent is a huge part of Superman's identity. Right now, you're going to have a young Superman with the new actor, who we like to call the younger, cheaper version of Henry Cavill, because photo by photo, they're both the same people, except he's younger and he's cheaper. So make him naive, make him charming, make his Clark Kent personality as dorky as possible. That wasn't the thing with Henry Cavill's thing. Henry Cavill's Superman Clark Kent was just Superman. It's just, except he had glasses and a bad haircut. That's it. And we didn't see Clark Kent all that well as well in the Man of Steel and stuff. That was the huge mistake, because biggest identity of Superman is not Superman, it's Clark Kent. That's what's important about Superman. That's why in the Christopher Reeves film, Clark Kent is the one who defeats this evil Superman side.
Man? All right. Come on, you can't! Come on! Come on! Come on!
That is a very important character. A lot of people are not doing this. Brandon Routh did a good job with it. I think Superman Returns really did well. And they also did hammer in this point, which I really want to like, is that in that movie they had a scene where Lois, I think, was pissed off at Superman, so she wrote an article that the world can exist without Superman. And then Superman takes her to a bit like space, and then he tells, like,
What do you hear?
Nothing.
I hear everything. You wrote that the world doesn't need a savior. But every day I hear people crying for one.
I would say you've hit a really good point there in that it's not like the comparison I can make is in Superman's way is that Clark Kent is who he is and Superman is the symbol, whereas the comparison in Batman is that Bruce Wayne is the mask and Batman is the character. So when you've got, like we said, when these two characters meet, their ideals are challenging each other.
It's so weird that his character merged with the broodiness and the darkness of Batman, which was not the thing with Superman. They were supposed to be night and day, and that's why their team-ups make for an interesting thing, is because you have this, like, cheering Boy Scout versus this dark, brooding guy. It's like the 50s meets the 90s. That was the dynamic between them. So make Superman as 50s as possible.
The comics in some of the series, when he first gets his powers, he's afraid of them. He's afraid. He's oh wait, I just punched this wooden beam in half as if it was just like a toothpick, and it scares him.
I started with no power at all, and I kept getting more. What if it never stops?
You'll handle it. I know you.
Words, just words.
You know, so he put mental blocks and restrictions on himself so that he couldn't, break anyone when he punches them. Because you notice he never punches a bad guy because he knows that he will basically shatter their skull, Mortal Kombat style.
Yeah. I like Henry Cavill's Superman, but again, his character was not 100% fleshed out. One of the reasons because this is another YouTuber, a lot of YouTubers made this point, but I'm going to make this point again, is that we didn't see Superman saving people because he's good. He did this because, hey, his dad told him. Hey, his mom told him.
All this time, I've been living my life the way my father saw it.
And when he was faced with their version of the courtroom scene, Superman was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Superman was never real. Just the dream of a farmer from Kansas. My world doesn't exist anymore.
Well, that's not Superman. Man, like, I don't care. I'm a good person. I have this power, and I'm gonna do the good thing with it. I don't care whatever says.
I fight for those who can't fight for themselves.
Have that connection with humanity, because that's Superman's greatest strength, is this connection with humanity, and he knows that yes, like you said, he uses his I say it this way, his godlike abilities to protect those beneath him because it's the right thing to do.
And here's the thing, the dynamic between Lex and Superman is a very interesting one that I really like, which they haven't done that in the MCU either. The smartest man in the world having a problem with an extra-dimensional alien who's appearing like godlike. Snyder did that in Batman vs. Superman, but he did that in the most awful way by casting a movie Zuckerberg in that role. That's the only flaw, okay? But his philosophy of him not trusting Superman, like he's having a problem with the godlike figure, that's a good thing. But, again, have a very charismatic bald guy, please.
That's the other thing that the MCU, that the DC universe did, whichever one it is. That's what they did wrong.
Yeah.
The Lex Luthor was a whiny teenager, kind of like the Harry Osborn in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, a whiny teenager who pouts when he doesn't get his own way, as opposed to something like the original Superman, the movie Lex Luthor, who was, I imagine Lex Luthor being as someone who's, even though he knows Superman could beat him, he's always 3 moves ahead. Yeah. He's always thinking ahead. And that's what these movies need, a charismatic, a Tony Stark guy, but a bad guy.
Yes! That's the best analogy you can give for Lex Luthor. He's Tony Stark, but he's evil and bald.
And bald. Very bald.
Bald is important.
He's bald! He's bald, people! He's bald! I think the worst part would be is if they did give Lex Luthor hair back and he goes, wait, you're not Lex Luthor! Surprise! I have hair the whole time!
I think for me, the best favorite Lex Luthor is the animated one in the Justice League animated show. He was voiced by someone good, and he was the 90s animated Superman villain as well. That Lex Luthor was perfect. Like in every movie, like he made naive Superman punch Shazam, a kid.
Fight's over, son.
All I wanted was for Superman to destroy the energy source. But battling Captain Marvel? Demolishing Lexor City while those media morons filmed every horrific moment?
That's the Lex Luthor that we want. This manipulative thing and just being a savvy businessman and being well damn charming about it. They try to make Lex Luthor kind of like a Joker of The Dark Knight. That's where they did wrong. Because Lex Luthor does have that philosophical point in view, but he delivers it much different to the Joker. He's not.
I would say though, but for Lex Luthor, his mentality is, we don't need Superman to be strong because Superman makes us weak because we're not fighting for ourselves. The Joker's whole point is, I will push you all to be just like me. Yeah. Because it takes one bad day for you to go over the edge.
Like, he's against the whole human morality system itself, while Lex Luthor is not for that. He champions humanity in an evil way. That's his shtick. That's where they went wrong with it, I would say. Because, like, a person who champions the strength of humanity is not going to be a whiny, weird... He kind of reminded me of Jim Carrey's Riddler as well. Like, it's the sort of the whole wackiness and also the greenish hue for some reason. It reminded me of Riddler. Don't do that.
It does. He literally is. He's just the Joker and the Riddler as a love child for Lex Luthor. It's like, hello. So, do you want to know how I got these scars?
Oh my god. Do you remember the one he feeds candy to the government guy? That was like, dude, what are you doing?
It's Cherry.
It's like, who is this guy? This isn't Lex Luthor. This isn't a Lex Luthor thing.
Snyder went to the actor, I think Jesse, something, his name is something Jesse or something like that.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
I think something like that.
Okay. You know, you've played that socially awkward characters like Mark Zuckerberg and stuff like that. Yeah. turn that to 100%, and then pretend like you're the love child of Riddler and Joker. Go for it.
No! Stop it! 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 Stop it!
I'm thinking of Vin Diesel, but no Vin Diesel. Like
Not Vin Diesel. Not. I think it should be an unknown person. It should be someone who can carry the charismatic nature of Lex Luthor.
That's right, conspiracy buff. I spent $75 million on a fake presidential campaign. All just to tick Superman off.
Which I think is beautiful, because we're going into like Arkham Knight level of fighting, where he's fighting 10 guys or 20 guys at the same time. He's always thinking ahead. I will give them credit for that. But I would show, again, like what we said for Superman, show Batman be challenged. Challenge him a bit more. So have a villain like the Riddler or Hush, someone who can challenge Batman's intellect a little bit more. I also would say, I give also some more credit to Snyder in that we saw a Robin suit in a glass case. So have maybe like the glass cases of all the previous ones. You can have a Batwoman suit, you could have a Robin suit, a Red Robin, but have a suit in there for Jason Todd, showing so the suit was all destroyed and beaten up. It could have burn marks on it, and what was written on it was "ha ha," which is the Joker, the Jason being the only Robin that died, and Batman mentally he had to deal with that. He had to deal with the fact that Jason died because of him. And so I would show Batman's not weak physically, but weak mentally. Like have his intellect be challenged. And again, I'm gonna bash you now, Snyder. I've sung your praises. Now I'm gonna bash you. Don't give Batman guns. Batman does not use guns. He is. Yes, in the first 3 issues, he did use guns, but they changed it, and it worked for the better.
But not with these. These are loud and clumsy. These are the weapons of cowards.
Batman's whole rule is he does not kill. He puts you in a hospital, he'll break your jaw, by all means, he'll run your head over with the Batmobile. But they're just threats. He does not actively kill people. Best example I can give is in the movie Under the Red Hood, is where the Red Hood basically puts an ultimatum to him, like, either you kill the Joker or I'm going to kill him. Why haven't you killed him? And then Batman brings the point. He says the best line, and it's in the comics as well, it's the best line, that it would be so easy. I've imagined torturing the Joker in every conceivable way. But if I do that, then I'm not coming back from it. And that shows his restraint. That's the God level of restraint. You know, he's built up this image of himself. So don't use guns, but challenge Batman on an intellectual level. That's how I would do a Batman.
So Dave, what you set upon, like, you gave props to Snyder, which again I do have to give it to as well. I think also acknowledging his props is going to be good when you restart the DC universe. I think James Gunn should do that as well, because Snyder does have fans. And I'm a fan of some of the stuff that he did. I actually did like some of the stuff that he really did. I wish the nooks and crannies were corrected better. Again, if the relationship was better with him in the studio, and if he had a decent writer, I think all would have been good. Like you said with Batman, him being, you know, the fight scene that you mentioned, this is going to be my huge thing, is that a Batman in the superhero world needs to be able to deal with superhero threats. And that's why you need to make him Batman as formidable physically, is what I'm trying to say, is that physically and also tech-wise, a formidable of a human being you can think of. And I think he did brilliant with Ben Affleck's casting. He's a 6'4" dude, and the suit and everything is like you said, it was the Arkham games Batman. That's really, you know, the Arkham Origins scene where Batman just walks and he's just a beast of a dude just walking and the earth shakes while he walks. what he needs to be. Because if he's that physically, humanly formidable, then we can believe he can deal with parademons or any sort of supernatural threat, even as a human. That's why I like what you said about intellect, but I think more of your point was about emotional challenging as well, that you said, like the Joker does start with the Dark Knight, where he manipulates him, plays with it, all of his emotions, tries to break him.
You have nothing to threaten me with. Nothing to do with all your strength.
I think that that's the best thing they do with Batman movies in general. Like, they do establish that emotional connection. No one has done Hush in a good way, I think. Like, the animated movie is also bad, right?
Yeah, they did do a Hush movie, but they mostly focused, that the main focus point of that was his relationship with Catwoman.
Yeah.
And they made...
I hated Catwoman and Batman, okay? I don't care if Batman fans hate me. No, the cat and the bat. It's like a furry frenzy. I don't want it, okay? just make Wonder Bat a thing. Make the romance between Batman and Wonder Woman, because that was such a cute aspect of the Justice League 2003 show. And that kind of went so well with Batman's character. And like you said, Batman being emotionally broken, I love in this one episode where they turn into kids.
I guess I'll go with Clark. Unless I should go with you. Whatever. I'm fine to go with Diana.
So Bruce and I are good to go?
I changed my mind. I'll go with Bruce, and John can go with Clark.
Whatever.
What's with them?
Man, for somebody with like 50 different kinds of vision, you are so blind.
And then they go back again, and then Wonder Woman goes to Batman and says, it was really nice being a kid again. And then Batman goes, I have never really been a kid since I was 8. So, even the kid version of the experience was still a sad boy, broken boy. And then that's such a complimentary scene to the character. You said very less, but it was so good to both of them. And I enjoyed both of their connections. That's why I don't like Superman and Wonder Woman. It's more like they're attracted to their powers, and they kind of make them egotistical in a sense. I love the fact that Wonder Woman liked Batman's human side a lot more than she admired with Superman. That's what I like.
If I may, I'd like to say on the thing I could, they made Hush the Riddler, which I was not happy about. I was like, no, Hush, put Hush as the person he's supposed to be. I will not say go and read the Hush storyline, because that reveal of who he is so much better than the movie version. Like, that animated movie. I give them credit that, yes, they hit some of the comics points with, Batman fighting Superman, who is under the control of Poison Ivy. It's someone getting all the villains together, sort of like the Long Halloween. All these villains are coming together to take on Batman. But if you're going to you need, like I said, challenge him. Challenge Batman. On not a physical level, but challenge him on an intellectual level.
I would say challenge him on a physical level as well, in a sense. I don't want to see common thugs challenge him on a physical level, but I want to see someone like Bane, like the superhero steroid Bane.
Master Bruce, are you all right?
The Mr. Freeze. But I don't want the common criminal to be the threat with Batman. That's why with Robert Pattinson, Batman is what I really hate, is that he is small and a lot of people tower over him. And even in his fight, he's angry. He's like, yeah, I'm a very edgy teenager, angry. But he's not being intimidating enough for me. Where to say that, and I can't believe that Batman is going up against a parody. So emotional.
On that point, Cap, I would say, following that point, sorry to interrupt, on that point is we have to remember that the Batman with Robert Pattinson is sort of like Batman Year One. So he's starting out. He's sort of building the legend. So I think what we should do is put a Batman where the legend is already there. The legend of the Batman is already established. So people see the bat symbol in the sky, and criminals are like, oh shit, let's get out. We're not staying here. We're out. We're out of here. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Maybe! No, not maybe. I am. When the mugger or the thief stops to think twice, that is fear. That is what I am. That is why they hired assassins, because I am the reason the criminals breathe easier when the sun rises. So no, Alfred, I am not in over my head. Tonight will not be my end, but it will be theirs.
Again, like in David Pattinson thing, we're not going to make him in the first fight even getting a single hit by a common criminal. I don't want to see that. But like I said, it was Batman year one. But I don't know, like he's grown now. How big is he gonna get technically?
Yeah, no early days Batman. Have an already 6 foot, God knows how tall level Batman.
That's why, you know, the guy they cast for Reacher, the Reacher TV show, he's also a beast of a dude. And the biggest problem with the Tom Cruise film that everyone said is that being a physical specimen is such much of a part of Reacher's character. When Tom Cruise played it, everyone hated it because of that. So don't go the Tom Cruise way. Go I forgot the new actor's name. Just go with Ben Affleck's way. So that's going to be our Batman.
Yeah.
So we established
that's
that.
our Batman.
So Dave, I want to talk about Wonder Woman as well because again, she's a very key figure in the Justice League. I think Wonder Woman, like the Snyder, I think the director was different. She did Wonder Woman 1 very well, and I think she hit all the marks that like she being a very hopeful, positive character, but also having that badass and also likable. Gal Gadot played so well and likable. I think carrying that on is good, but also having a mystery about Wonder Woman, introducing her like they did in the Batman vs Superman, where like Batman is talking to Wonder Woman and he says like,
You don't know me, but I've known a few women like you.
Oh, I don't think you've ever known a woman like me.
instead of going her to making her the daughter of Zeus, what they did in the animated world, they made her the daughter of Hades. And I think that's a good thing, because I think we already seen Ares, but Hades as a big villain, or even a buddy movie villain for Batman and Wonder Woman, is better than having Ares again. So make her the daughter of Hades and do a plot line where he does things in Gotham and Wonder Woman has to come to Gotham where he meets Batman, and hey, they fall in love and have kids. Okay, that's not it, but do that buddy cop movie thing. What I like.
If I may, I'd like to say on the thing I can touch upon really with Wonder Woman. The only thing I can really say for her, not only is she strong physically strong, you know, being the daughter of a god, she is quite strong. But I would say she's got that compassion. She's sort of the compassionate face of the Justice League, whereas everyone, you know, Superman's the hope and the justice. Batman is vengeance. He is also justice, but Wonder Woman's justice, but compassion as well. She is love. That's the Amazons are there to show compassion to the world of men. So that's what I think we need for us. We need to show a Wonder Woman who is, yes, the fish out of water, being like, oh, I love ice cream. This is the best thing I've ever tasted. But also having the, you know, being the emotional strength behind the Justice League as well. So
our Wonder Woman is going to be like that, and the romance will happen if we are in charge of DC. I'm making that a thing. the Bat romance. the Wonder Bat, because if they get together, we get the real boy Wonder. Like if Batman and Wonder Woman have a kid, it's going to be the real Robin, the boy Wonder with powers. I want that thing, okay? That's my thing. I want that. And I think fans will like that as well. With Green Lantern, don't do Ryan Reynolds. That's all.
Don't do Ryan Reynolds.
Damn, that's beautiful.
You're welcome, Canada.
Do a cocky Hal Jordan. If you're gonna do Hal Jordan, of course, do him cocky, because that's what he's like. He's a cocky individual.
They're not using Green Lantern as much as what pains me, because like he's a really powerful hero. He's a human still, but like and also it's so poetic. Green Lantern is so poetic to me, where they made it like the emotional spectrum. That's what gives them their powers.
In fearful day, in raging night, with strong hearts full, our souls ignite. When all seems lost in the war of light, look to the stars, for hope burns bright.
He should be the one who introduces to DC space. And I think that would work so perfectly.
It would. It really would. And have like the emotional spectrum involved. Have the Lantern Corps involved. You don't need especially like you've got the interesting Orange Lantern, which is just one guy.
Oh yes, you've seen that show, right? Like the Green Lantern animated show.
Yeah, I know about that guy, and it's hilarious because the whole code of him is what's mine is mine, and mine is mine, and mine is mine is mine is mine is mine.
You liar! It's mine, 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 mine!
He's insane.
Do your Green Lantern film. You're gonna have the memes. You're gonna be ridiculed for a while, but if you do a solid enough casting, again, that's why I think going the Jon Stewart route is much better. Have Idris Elba, or I think Idris Elba is a bit old now. I think starting a new franchise with him will be that kind of
John Boyega. John Boyega.
No.
He needs redemption after Star Wars. Let him have this.
Okay, John Boyega. Okay, let's keep.
I am giving this to John Boyega. You get no say in this matter.
Do castings well. Alternative casting. I am fine with. Again, Dave, I'm fine with alternative casting. Like, you can't play around with characters like Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury. I think that was the best decision that they made. Like making him Samuel L. Jackson. That was like amazing. Do that with characters you think like would bring extreme charisma to the role and will like change like some actors are so good that they can make the characters their own. If you have someone like that, do it. Otherwise, stick to what's been already established. When I'm thinking of Hot Girl, pick your best hottest ginger you can find. Please share Hot Girl as same as in the cartoons or in the comics, okay? Like, pick your best pick out of all the gingers in Hollywood, okay? Just, it may not be Ariel.
Is this going to be like a new lottery game or something? We're just going to go, show me ginger people.
You know the actress from Game of Thrones, she played Jean Grey, that's the problem, but I think she would also make a good Shia because like she's a redhead and tall.
Yeah.
She, again, her character in a sense you could say, she's like an angel. But inside, that's not an angel, that's like a Valkyrie. That's a brutal warrior.
Likewise, I'm sure.
And by appearance, she's an angel. She got the looks and everything. And I think if you're doing a Jon Stewart, I think their characters would go well because you have this badass story and Jon is much more of a sensible person. You can even alter him as a more charismatic person, and I think that dynamic would work.
It would. That would 100% work. Have the yin and the yang to each other.
All we want is information about our friends. You can talk to me, or you can talk to her.
And here's the thing that we have to move to this question, is that how are we going to, like, again, we are James Gunn now, how are we going to successfully restart the DCEU to do all the things that we're doing at near the end of the superhero genre, because that's what's happening. All the superhero movies came out this year, did very poorly. So, Dave, what do you think about the superhero fatigue? Is that a real thing, or is it just bad movies?
I would say it's twofold. It's a mixed bag in that regard. In that regard, it is a mixed bag. In that, they're in the MCU's case. I'm going to use the MCU here because we talked about DC. I'm going to use the MCU because they're the ones who are putting out the most product. In their case, they're going through the mixed bag of characters that they have, but not making good cohesive stories with those characters, with everything that they have in mind. They had the plan from Iron Man to Endgame. They had a few bumps in the middle, but now every superhero movie is kind of fumbling in the dark, trying to one-up each other. You know, and you know, they're saying, "Oh, you've done this character. We're going to put this one in," and they're more trying to get, let's get as many characters out as we can, as opposed to telling a decent story. And that's where the fatigue has come from. Is that it's not the case of, we don't like these characters. Is that nobody knows these characters, and you're not giving us a good story to go with them.
You said is that like the lack of focus is what killing the superhero genre. Everyone's doing superhero movies, but they have no idea where they're going with that one. So they're just doing movies without a deal. I mean, like Sony's doing with their Morph in Time thing, Marvel's doing their bunch of things, and DC's also, even though Snyderverse is closed, they're still doing movies, even though they're about to reboot it. So
there is no plan.
There's no narrative. There's no narrative within the narrative. There's nothing building towards it. You know, there's no direction where they're going. Everyone's driving to different destinations. It's like, imagine it's a large motorway, and everyone's all driving in different directions, trying to get to one particular place. Where are we all going? Like, you're going right, I'm going. He's going up, he's going down. Where are we all going here, people? Which I think sums up the point entirely that we're saying, that with the superhero fatigue thing being true. I think it's more a thing that it's based on story, not based on the story and the weight of the character that you're telling the story with.
So how are we going to successfully restart the DC?
So I would say the main 100% point you need for this is a piece of glue, or just something that holds the universe together. So if you want to do, before the MCU was a thing, like before the DCEU was a thing, you had these superhero movies all independent. And when the MCU started, they had a glue that held everything together. You need that either, whether it be a character, whether it be a goal that they're going to, there needs to be a focus point. Even after Marvel's Endgame, which wasn't, you had the Infinity Saga, and now that's over and done with. What's happened now is we have entered a phase where they're trying to capture the same level of a hype of Endgame, but stay at that level. But what they're forgetting is they need something that holds that universe together. As I said, whether it be a person or an objective or just something to hold an entire universe as expansive as Marvel, as expansive as DC. Something has to hold it together.
So, Dave, I also think that one of the reasons why the superhero genre is dying, there is the superhero fatigue. And it comes from two things. Like you said, it's all too muddled up for the general audience to focus on. But I also think right now is that they stop appealing to geeks. The geeks who made the superhero genre possible. When the first movies came out, they were the ones who were the first in theaters. They were the ones, in a sense, like the audience marketing that actually skyrocketed Marvel in a sense. And then the general audience followed up on it. So right now, there's also the problem with people having very bad interactions with the fans, the actual fans. I think that needs to stop if the superhero genre needs to have a chance. And you already have bad press with the whole Henry Cavill thing, and like James Gunn with the whole issues like him being castings and stuff like that. So you already have a lot of baggage, and you already pissed off the Snyderverse fan. That's like a cult-like following. But again, if James Gunn, like, you know what? I know you guys read Superman. I'm going to make the Superman for you guys. And your communication, again, should be good with the audience. Like the press interviews. This is where do not let what happened to Snow White happen to the new DC. Weird. The thing with Henry Cavill, right? The best best thing he did, he never sparked ill with the fans. I think that's why, even though he's in crappy stuff, he even says that he's in crappy stuff, he was able to have a fandom because he never crapped on the fans. Like, everyone wanted, like, the interviews were pushing him to hate on fans, and he never did.
This culture of toxic fandom, where, like, if you make a movie, especially if you make a superhero movie, like, you have great intentions, but there are always going to be a small yet vocal group of people there can kind of just be toxic.
I understand what you're saying, but when it comes to fans, it is a fan's right to have whatever opinion they want to have. And people are going to be upset because, especially when you're talking about books or games, because you're never going to be the exact person who they had in their head or who they played on Witcher 3, for example. I don't necessarily consider that toxic. I just consider that passionate.
And that's why he has a successful following. So again, it's going to depend on your stars and the decisions you make and how you communicate to the fans. And also appeal to the geeks, appeal to the nerds more. And then the general audience will follow if you do a good enough story.
I would counter that in a way. I'm going to be I'm going to play devil's advocate on that. In that, yes, you need to cater to fans. Like fans, if you're making a Superman movie, you want to cater to Superman fans. But at the same point, I would say I wouldn't say get fans in the writers' room to correct, because then it will just turn into a massive debate, and the movie will never get made. You know.
Yeah.
But I would say, have that balance of, there's these moments where fans can go, I know what you're talking about. I remember that time when Superman did drag planets across the universe, but also have it so that the audience can watch it and go, I didn't know Superman could do that.
I'm talking about a sensible fan.
And also, I don't want the whole everything is an Easter egg thing. I don't want that either. What I'm saying is
no.
Yeah. You know that the fans have I think this is what happens. This is with every story, is that if a character does something that the character would not do, that's the problem. That will hit harder with fans. General audience who don't know the character may not think too much on it, but if it leads to a crappy story, they will think of those. So you have the fans, don't insult these characters that these people are fans of. So they would come and realize that I know that's why this character does this. That's why they fell in love with these characters. Like, if you do that, here's the thing. They will market your movie in a better way than you do it yourself. Think about how Barbie and, Oppenheimer became a thing. They involved the people. That's why those two movies did well. Otherwise, and also I think Barbie had a demographic. They appealed to that demographic 100% in a good way.
Yeah. Because what you need in any sort of movie, and this is in general, I'm generalizing here, you need to get right, who is your target audience for this film, and are the general public gonna want to see it as well? Like if you've got if we made the Superman movie, we need to target people who are fans of Superman, but also we need to make it a movie that the general public who are like, you know what, it's a Saturday night, let's go and watch this new Superman movie. You need to mostly target these people, but also target it to people and try to hook them in to come and see the next thing.
So Dave, like you said, I think we made a good pitch. You're going to do team build movies as foundations, have big bats in them as powerful, but have the underlying thread as your focus in the background. So the audience will have something, a thread that they can follow through, or a glue they can hang to when you reach your magnum opus. On the team movie set, like you said, you can you go with the plan that you said with the Justice League, or you can do triple teams movies with 3 members of the Justice League in one movie, and then another 3 members of the Justice League in one movie, and then all of them combining together in one movie. That I think is a good way to do, because as Justice League as one, as the whole main six are very powerful, and I think that separating the screen time with so much characters is going to be a problem when you're specifically doing a movie and not a series. So I would say have like the earthly, like the Legion of Doom thing happening with the three teams. You can make it as Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and make Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Martian Manhunter in space. Let them introduce us to DC space, where they deal with their own bad, whether it's the Red Lantern or it's the Thanagarians or the white aliens from the Justice League thing. And then in both of these films, there's an underlying threat coming that the both of them discover slightly. Is that there's like a dark side thing brewing on Earth that just they haven't discovered it, but at the end of the film they discover it. The space threat as well, they discover there is a dark side threat or a brainiac threat, whatever big bad that you're going to go on. They discover there's this puzzle pieces, very small puzzle pieces. The hammer on the point of how do you survive near the superhero end of the superhero genre and how you revive your universe near this end is appealing to nerds. Okay?
Yes.
And being faithful to the character designs, and also with Wonder Woman, I think they did a good job with casting Gal Gadot. Right now, I think they have to cast a new one. Again, please appeal to the nerds, okay? Appeal.
But it sounds weird, but I agree. It's like appeal to your demographic, appeal to your target. Don't appeal to people that aren't gonna watch it.
Nobody loved me when I was nobody!
I did! Before the money. And before the fame. Before the lie. To me, you were a somebody, Oscar. Now you're nothing. But a fake. A sham, a con. You're a joke.
So that is our DC, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We have successfully restarted the DCEU. Now all we want is for you to send us money so we can make this a thing.
If you want to send us money for our DC universe, give it to We Support Henry Cavill as Superman, / no CGI mustache, PO Box, wherever you can find it.
So thank you, Dave, again, like doing this discussion with me. I really appreciate you doing that. I think we were good here. And where can the people find you?
Well, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Dave MC, where I do gaming videos where I talk about Star Wars. I even did a video with Kapilthev in which we talked about Godzilla. I showed him classic Showa, Heisei, and even Millennium Godzilla clips, so he could get a chance to look at that. It's a fun adventure, and Kapilthev got to experience the most amazing things. And I'm hoping in the plans a sequel.
Yeah, definitely. Just like I've never laughed so much. I think in last year, I think that's when I laughed so much. So check out his channel. Again, it's in the tag, it's in the description. You can click it and go check him out. So that's it for me, guys. That's how we do the DCU. That's how we did the DCU. That's how we fixed the DCU and restarted the DCU. And thank you, Dave, for coming on. It was a lovely chat.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to do stuff with you, mate.
Down.